Yo, what's good YouTube? It's Boardzy and welcome to the 2023 Seal of Approval Roundup. For the third straight year, I am going through every product, mostly mice, because that's just what I reviewed most this year. Unsurprisingly, that wound up with the Seal of Approval in the calendar year. And this is going to be more of just a list, a quick rundown than any type of roundup with explanations, because I did make a top 15 mice video, and I've already made individual reviews where these all wound up with the Seal of Approval. And yeah, first and foremost, I'm going to try to do it in like kind of chronological order. I think one of the first mice to get it in early release this year was the Gwolves HTX 4K. I am outspoken about not loving this shape. It is just simply too low at the front. It flares out a bit too much at the back. The clicks like slope down too aggressively. But it is a very solid mouse, especially if you don't opt for the 4K version. It's around a 40-gram wireless mouse for I believe like $110. So all right, it's not my number one recommendation, but it is a very solid mouse. I know a lot of high-level players who do actually use it, but generally they have smaller hands than me at 21 by 11. Another mouse that wound up with the seal of approval was the Lamzu Atlantis V2. I believe I gave the Mini the seal of approval as well, but I really don't use that as much. And yeah, a lot of you guys know the deal with the Lamzu Atlantis by now. Endgame Gear XM1 shape clone, pretty much. Endgame Gear did release mice this year as well. But yeah, Lamzu does it at a very low weight, pretty affordable, and just available in general. The performance on Lamzu mice is absolutely fine. I still do get some comments saying that Lamzu mice have high latency from the numbers shown in Optimum's Finalmouse video, I believe. But yeah, there's really no issue with the 4K implementation with click latency. Lamzu products are high quality. Some people complained that I snubbed the Thorn and Maya from the seal of approval this year. And I mean, I agree. Some people like those mice. I saw the Thorn won some like community best mouse of the year award. I don't believe that one bit. But you know, that is what it is. If you palm grip and you want a light ergo mouse, go for the Thorn. The Maya, I have it right here. I keep trying to get back into it. I've gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, it's all right for fingertip. It's definitely not in my top 3 or like top 5 personally, but just trying to claw grip it. Like, it is too small of a mouse. I don't know what else there is to say. I did see Lamzu is making a larger version, but yeah, that's just to address the Thorn and the Maya, because I know those are like solid mice under $100 that I did not wind up giving the seal of approval to. And then people see that mice like the glorious Model D Pro have the seal of approval at $130, and they're like, hey, what's up with that? And you know, that's a very fair point. This really just shocked me because it was the first glorious mouse that was actually good. And then a few weeks later, the Pulsar Xlite V3 Esports Edition and the Standard Edition came out. And then I was just like, I'm not really recommending this at the $130 price point without a coating just being a glorious mouse. Like, it's not something I recommend as highly, but I still haven't really had any issues with it for what it's worth. And I realized the whole chronological aspect of this video has gone out the window, but I don't think anybody was really watching for that. The VGN Dragonfly F1 Max, but just any of the F1 variants really. This is the only budget mouse this year that got the seal of approval. The Zaopin Z1 Pro was close, but I truly think at the $50 price point or whatever this is at, I know the VXE R1 is pretty much the same level of quality as this as well. I've just yet to try it. This mouse is incredibly fucking good. I covered it in my recent budget roundup as well, but yeah, I can truly recommend the Dragonfly if you are looking for a mouse that's pretty much on the same level of quality as like the Ninjutso Sora, like Pulsar mice. Yeah, that mouse is pretty shocking at the price. Would definitely recommend checking out my video on that if you want more info. Ninjutso Sora, this is not a mouse that I use a ton personally. I don't like the shape when compared to the X2 Mini. I just think the X2 Mini has much flatter sides. I just like how like rigid and angular the shape feels. But if you are just looking for something a bit smaller, a bit more claw grip oriented, like with a back hump, somewhat XM1 Mini like, then yeah, go for the Sora. I kind of just gave this the seal of approval because there's nothing I can really knock about the mouse, but it's just a bit like too small of a claw grip shape for me to really enjoy. But I believe for the 4K version it's $120, so it's not a super cheap mouse, but it's just like, it's solid for what it is. The X2 Mini, also the X2 Boardzy edition, I believe did release this year. Obviously that has the seal of approval, but yeah, the X2 Mini is just one of my straight up favorite mice. The only quality issue I have is the first time I click the clicks in a session, it is sticky, but from there, just no issues whatsoever. Very light, and honestly one of my favorite optical click implementations. And yeah, the just structural integrity of my X2 Mini, yes, I was sent this one out, but I get sent so many mice by Pulsar, they would have to have like a whole fucking division of like reviewer units. Maybe that is possible, but my quality across the newer Pulsar mice has been pretty solid. And yeah, now I quickly gotta mention Endgame gear because they finally did start releasing wireless mice this year, and I did give both of them the seal of approval. Despite being 3370 implementations, I really don't feel like the performance is subpar. Obviously, you would like to see them using the latest components, but Endgame gear mice, you're really going to be buying them just for the hand feel. They're on the level of Zowie, where it's like they're just apart from the rest of the mice when it comes to construction. I don't know how the fuck they do it, but their products, I mean, I guess the OP1 I do have some like popping, but that's probably only because I've squeezed it so much in the past just to see like, can this thing fucking creak? And really, I mean, Endgame gear products feel well built. Their clicks are a bit too heavy, I would say. I don't know why the OP1 stock clicks are just the heaviest clicks I've ever felt on a mouse. That really does ruin the mouse for me. I know they have like the switch pack and I should mod the mouse or just buy a modded one, but I don't know. There are plenty of other lighter fingertip grip mice that I use as well. So the OP1 I know they are making a wired variant, but I'm just not going to use it. I'm not going to use a wired mouse. And I know this has really stopped being a seal of approval roundup and is just more general mouse discussion, but I doubt anybody expected anything else. Vaxee NP01s wireless is a mouse I gave the seal of approval to, really just because I've always fanboyed the NP01s shape. The standard NP01 is just too fucking bulky, and then this shape is just so much more pleasant. Really, it's just lower in general, but the side buttons not really being Fortnite optimized and based is why I don't keep this mouse in my general rotation. It will be interesting to see Vaxee drop their 4K dongle, though, and hopefully some new mice in the new year. And now the big three, my three favorite mice of the year. Fun fact, I actually didn't give the GPX2 the seal of approval. I was looking through my videos, and I was like, this can't be. So I guess I just literally forgot to ask for the seal of approval in one of my thumbnails. But yeah, this is like straight up one of my favorite mice of the year. Call me a GPX fan, call me a shill, and yeah, call me whatever you want. But I just feel so comfortable and stable on the GPX shape. The new clicks are definitely a good bit heavier than they were on the Omron 20Ms, but they're not anything I would say is like super heavy. At least copy to copy, this copy I have is pretty light. And yeah, it's a GPX at the end of the day. It's slightly modified. I did remove the bottom plate and the screws on mine, and it actually did get it down to 57 grams. So if you do want to do a small weight reduction mod, that actually does the same amount of reduction they did from the GPX1 to the GPX2. So I call this GPX3. What skates do I have on this? I genuinely have no idea. I think they are X-Ray Pad Jades or Tiger Ice. You know, it's funny. There's really no way to tell when you have these skates because they all look the same. But yeah, I'm really 100% satisfied. I could get all of these mice off of my desk and just use the GPX2 for the rest of my life. You could honestly say that about any mouse, but I would probably be most satisfied if it was the GPX2 just because I have so much time on it. It just feels standard in my hand. Another shape pretty much like that is the Finalmouse ULX. Generally, I have been a Finalmouse fan forever as well, starting with the UL2. That was really the first Finalmouse that clicked for me. For fingertip, the medium shape is obviously going to be close to the WLmouse. And the thing is, if you don't already have one of these or haven't ordered it already, there's not going to be another drop of mediums until like March of 2024 at least. So if you do want a medium Finalmouse shape, pretty much your only option is going to be the WLmouse. And the medium size for this does come in at around 40 grams. And this was really the shocker of the year. I did get this updated Zebra version, and this has an updated coating, it updated side button quality, and even the battery positioning on mine is no longer fucked like it was on the original unit. So yeah, the WLmouse at $140 for a 40-gram magnesium mouse. It's nobody's really understating how crazy of a value it is, and the ULX is just straight up one of my favorite mice of the year at 38 grams. The weight balancing does feel a little bit more impressive than the WLmouse. The clicks are very light on my Finalmouse. I did just make a 6-week update on this if you do want more info. But yeah, that kind of wraps it up for the seal of approval roundup of this year. Like I said, I'm not going into crazy detail because I have already done that on every full review. But yeah, now this is going to be the very brief non-mouse section of this video. Only 2 products released this year that were not mice that got the seal of approval. Only real Boardzy fans will know. The Lamzu Energon, for some reason. Like, I pretty much stopped giving Mousepads the seal of approval, but decided to give the Energon the seal of approval because it was like kind of Raiden-esque and it was just a solid speed pad. But it's not something I've used too much. There are plenty of Mousepads that released this year that I liked and could have gotten the seal of approval, but I didn't bother to. But yeah, that's really that for Mousepads. There are just so many high quality clones out there that it's just not worth being like, yeah, this one's the seal of approval. It's just an endless cycle. And also my monitor, the Asus PG27AQN, a truly perfect monitor. Like, nothing more needs to be said. You don't need to watch monitor reviews. That's a scam industry. Just get a PG27AQN, 1440p, 360 Hz, incredible motion clarity, UlMV2 that isn't too dim. I saw a review that said that. I forget whose review, but it's perfectly fine for me at least. And it's a wonderful monitor. It's only $900 right now, compared to like 1050, which, I mean, I don't know. If you're looking for a 360 hertz like Endgame monitor, I would say go for it. If you're looking for like a budget 240 hertz, obviously don't go for it. But I'm not a big monitor reviewer, but this is a monitor that was just so good I had to slap the seal of approval on it. But yeah, I really didn't do many keyboard reviews this year. The Huntsman V3 Pro from Razer, the TKL version, is something that I used for a good few months. The switches felt great. The rapid trigger feels good, but it's $220, so I mean, I don't really recommend it over a lot of other keyboards. But yeah, keyboards, it just wasn't much that really moved me this year. There are so many rapid trigger clones out, similar to Mousepads, where it's just overwhelming. But that's going to be all for the 2023 Seal of Approval Roundup. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for another awesome based year of mouse reviews and a video like this early 2025. That feels weird to say. But yeah, like and subscribe if you enjoyed. That's going to be all. Peace out.